Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Hot Rod Bob, and you've got gas, a second edition in the week. How about that? Hey, we're going to talk about an interesting thing. Now, performance is always something people that are watching this think about, whether it's cornering performance, acceleration performance, or even fuel mileage. Yes, fuel mileage. I know it's a consideration for me, regardless of which car I'm driving. And the cars that we have average somewhere between 20 and 30 miles per gallon. Not because we sought them out for that specific reason, but it was part of the calculation as to whether we'd buy the car or drive the car. Because, heck, I don't want to support the oil companies as much as everybody else. I don't want to stop at a gas station as often as a lot of others. I want to drive and enjoy my car. And we drive long distances many times, so the cost is a factor. Now, this isn't a conversation about mileage, but it is a side effect of something that was done to enhance the performance of a vehicle from a company you may not have thought of. Now, transmissions are an important part of fuel mileage, and there are many different types of transmissions. There's overdrives and automatic, there's overdrives and manuals, there's multiple gears. Volkswagen Beetles, for example, had a 4-speed. Fourth gear was overdrive. The first 3 gears were normal, 3-speed transmission. Fourth was an overdrive. Now, Mustang had a similar situation. In 1979, when they introduced the new Mustang, it had a 4-speed transmission. Fourth gear was overdrive. Racers use an overdrive system sometimes on their vehicles. I know a few of them. As a matter of fact, Dave Franklin had a unit on the back of his big 61 Chevy's transmission that gave him basically 8 speeds because he could shift overdrive in between each gear and get first, second, first A, first B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3, and so forth. And yes, Jay Black, El Mirage is this weekend, and that's another place where an overdrive transmission works great. Now, many of us are familiar with a racing transmission that has multiple sticks, quicker shifting. Pro Stock guys use it. Some of the Pro Mod guys use it. It's a very popular transmission. Lenco, multiple sticks. You look under the hood, or inside the car, and you're going to see multiple sticks there. You look at it going, okay, now what do I do? If you're a race driver, you know what to do. But what would you do if you had one of those types of transmissions in your car? Now, first off, you'd expect Chevy or Ford to come up with something like that, or even Mopar, because, hey, it resembles a race car. But would you think of Rambler and American Motors? Well, think again, because that's exactly what they did. The twin-stick transmission, Rambler had it from 1963 through 1965. Now, it was a cool-looking thing on the console of the car, and it came on their sportier versions of their vehicles. But a lot of people looked at it and go, what the is this? It didn't catch on. Although, I think it's a great idea. But it was a manual transmission, a 3-speed, with a second stick that you could put the car into overdrive. So although you didn't do it on first gear, on second and third you did, giving you basically a 5-speed transmission. Now, only a fraction of the technical and economic resources of Detroit 3 and American Motors was interested in fuel economy back in those days. But American Motors, probably one of the smallest of the companies at the time, was looking for a way to catch people's attention and make things more sporty. So American Motors, under the tutelage of Roy Abernathy and Richard Teague, were with this company and came up with this idea for the twin-stick transmission. Now, the twin-stick is basically, as I said, a 3-speed transmission, a Borg-Warner electric overdrive system that was actuated by a stick, not a switch, but a stick on the console. Looked kind of cool. It was interesting. Was it clever? You bet. Now, the twin-stick combination combined traditional Rambler fuel economy, because they were a good fuel economy vehicle, with some sporty, fun car type appearance. And with the overdrive range available on the top 2 gears, like I said, you now had basically a 5-speed. Borg-Warner 3-speed with overdrive, stick actuated. Now, the Borg-Warner 3-speed transmission, then used by AMC small and large 6s and V8s to offer this feature, it cost you an additional $145. Now, that's quite a lot back in those days because you got to remember the car itself sold for less than $3,000. In 1966, the company bowed to convention and dropped the twin stick feature in favor of a more conventional 4-speed. But there was still no overdrive. They used the T10 4-speed. So your 4th gear was 1-to-1. It was not an overdrive. Did you get better gas mileage with a 4-speed? Yeah, technically you could if you kept it in the right RPM ranges through the gears. You drive a 4-speed, the only thing you're looking for is acceleration. You're not looking for fuel economy and torque ranges and so forth. But the twin-lever, dual-range transmission concept, well, it's popped up a few times in passenger cars since. Mitsubishi had something like it in the late 70s and early 80s and touted the dual virtues of economy and performance. And it wouldn't surprise us a bit to see twin-stick ideas come back again sometime in the future. But check out one of the ads from Sports Car Action if you can find it. In the twin stick, it shows a driver with a sporty racing glove at the time, a driving glove. And it's kind of neat. Ramblers at the time, kind of stodgy, kind of cool when you look at them today. As a matter of fact, there was one at the cruise night at the NHRA Motorsports Museum just a couple of weeks ago. I liked it. I'd go for it. Hi, Cassie Nunez. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. Ellen Fox, good morning to you. Brian Defer, thanks for tuning in. Now, if you were going to get an American Motors car, what would you look for? Me? Well, I'd go for an early Marlin. What about you? Hi, Butch Hill. How you doing, guy? Butch Hill, driving the world's fastest all-steel drag Studebaker. Got a blown Hemi. NDRL. All the way. All right, I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got gas. It's Thursday. I'm headed to the drags. Irwindale tonight. NHRA drag racing at its best. Street drags. Bring it and race it. You don't want to beat up your car, guys. I understand. It's perfectly normal. Bring the wife's car out. Bring the girlfriend's car out. If you're really brave, bring both. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got gas. The morning edition here from Southern California. Headed out to Irwindale Drag Strip tonight. Your place to race. Have a great day, folks, and keep it rubber side down and shiny side up.